Hello there. Thanks for joining me for this video. My name is Christopher Scott, and I want to share with you how I prepare to preach each and every week at church. If you're like me, maybe you went to Bible college and learned lots of good Bible study methods. Maybe you went to seminary, like I did as well, where you learned Greek and Hebrew. You learned exegetical methods and word studies and systematic theology and things like that. What I want to do in this video is share with you how I prepare to preach each and every week. Obviously, I am not a gray haired man with lots of wrinkles that has been doing this for 50 years every single week, but I did serve for 4 years as an associate pastor where I preached about every 4 months. I got to preach at our church when our senior pastor was traveling or taking a week off. And then I've been at the church that I serve at now as a senior pastor in my third year of preaching every single week, every single Sunday, preaching a message, as well as leading a Bible study for men on Mondays, as well as doing a monthly systematic theology message for our men's breakfast each month as well. So in this video, I want to share with you basically what I do each week to prepare to preach a sermon every Sunday morning. So what I do is I start with a pad of paper and the passage, and usually sometime Sunday afternoon, I will copy and paste the passage onto a pad of paper like this, and then I'll try to write out each verse by hand. So this is Luke chapter 2, verse 9. I'll write out the verse by hand, then I'll copy and paste the Greek or Hebrew text down below out of the Greek and Hebrew readers Bibles that I have. And I like those because it obviously gives you the Greek and Hebrew text, but it also will give you the glossary, the definition of words that are used, I think 50 times or less for the Hebrew version, and then I think 30 times or less for Greek version. So that's the readers Hebrew and Greek testaments that's published by Zondervan. You can buy only the Hebrew, only the Greek, but I have the Greek and Hebrew together in a hardback format. So usually on Sunday, I will try to sit down and do that at some point in the afternoon to copy and paste the Hebrew and Greek onto some sheets of paper. I'll handwrite the English, usually each verse on each piece of paper. And I do that so that Monday morning I can just start running. I can get started right away with preparing for my sermon. What I also do each and every week, not each and every week, but as I plan my series, going through books of the Bible, either verse by verse or doing topical messages, I will ahead of time make copies of my commentaries, my backgrounds, things like that, and I'll throw them in a manila file folder. That way, Sunday afternoon comes, Monday morning comes, I got everything I need in here, and I'll go over what resources I use each week in a few minutes. But that's something that I can start studying. Sunday night, Monday morning, right away, everything is prepared and ready for me as I start the week. So Monday morning, I'll start by going through the text with my pen, and I'll start the basic process: observation, interpretation, application, the basic inductive Bible study process. And I have a way that I mark up the text. I use capital letters for my observations. I use sentence case for interpretation. And then I use cursive for any application I see in the text. And I'll start, as you can see here, Luke chapter 9. You can see some of my block capital letters. Those are my observations. Cause and effect, that's an observation. And I just start working my way through it. And then I'll begin on Monday. I'll usually look at some study Bible notes to help me as I begin to study. So I'll use the Ryrie Study Bible. I use the New American Standard Study Bible. I use the MacArthur Study Bible. Those are my 3 study Bibles that I will consult. And again, I have already copied those and they're in my folder, so I just pull them right out. If I like something in there, then I have some little scissors. I cut out that little comment. I have some Scotch tape, and I Scotch tape it right on the piece of paper if it's more than I can rewrite in my own handwriting. On Mondays, I also try to use the Bible Knowledge Commentary, which is a really good kind of basic entry level. It also uses the New International Version in that commentary. I'm using the NASB for preaching and for my study, so it's nice to see a different translation that way too. So that's usually what I try to do on Mondays. I try to kind of get a broad survey of what the text is about, what it maybe means. I usually don't have a lot of application ideas. I don't have an outline. I don't have any homiletical points or anything like that, but I'm starting to get a foundation built with what the text is about. And then on Tuesday, I start with exegetical in-depth work. So Monday, I've kind of gotten a base level done. Tuesday, I try to dive deep, and I always try to have one good exegetical commentary that I go through every sentence, every word, and I just dig in as much as I can. Right now, I'm using Darrell Bock's commentary on Luke. So actually, I have it right here. The first volume is 1,000 pages, but I go through this. I usually don't make copies of these because they're so large and there'd be so many copies, but I'll pull that out and go through it. I also will reference Dan Wallace's Greek grammar, Beyond the Basics, which deals with syntax a lot of good material. That will help me. In this case, Luke 2:9, it says, an angel of the Lord appeared. Now, is that the angel of the Lord from the Old Testament, or is that an angel of the Lord, not the angel? So that's something Dan Wallace actually deals with directly. And so I'll use that by going to his index in the back, and I'll look up every reference that he has in there for the passage I'm going through. So for this week, I'm going through Luke chapter 2, verses 9 through 14. Not many verses, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 6 verses. It's pretty simple, but it does take a little time. Also on Tuesdays, in addition to an exegetical commentary, Greek grammar beyond the basics, I'll look at, I'll use A.T. Robertson's word pictures in the New Testament. I have that in a digital version on my computer, so I just print that out. Marvin Vincent's word studies in the New Testament is also one that I will use. And then I'll use the Net Bible notes. Again, I have a digital version of that. Those are really good, in-depth exegetical notes. Particularly the Net Bible, it will point me in other directions to go if I need more help, which is really helpful. So that technically is kind of a study Bible. I should do it, I guess, on Mondays, but I include it in my exegetical work. And so by Tuesday, I usually have got a pretty good feel of the big idea of the passage. What does it say? What's it say about what it says? You know, the subject and the complement. What's it about? And what's it say about what it's about? And so I've got a good feel for that by Tuesday, usually, which leads into Wednesday. And Wednesday is an important day for me because my goal Wednesday, by the end of Wednesday, usually by noon on Wednesday, I need to have an outline, headings, some subject headings that'll show up in the bulletin, and I need to have some homiletical points and applications. So for this week, for Luke, I'm preaching a series I'm starting for Advent. And this week's on angels, a group of unmistakable announcers. That's my section, those 6 verses in Luke 2. And so today actually is Wednesday. I've got my big idea. The angels announce the Messiah's arrival and proclaim his glory. The text is about angels. That's the subject. The complements, I guess, are that they announce the Messiah's arrival and they proclaim the Messiah's glory. Those are the 2 complements to my subject. What's it about and what's it say about what it's about? Another way to put it is, what's it say and what's it say about what it says is really what I'm trying to develop and make sure I have down on Wednesday. I also, on Wednesday, as I said, I got to have an outline. So my 3 points will be the arrival of the angels, verse 9, the announcement of the angels, verses 10 through 12, and the appearance of the multitude of angels, verses 13 through 14. So, and again, I struggle with memorization, so I try to use alliteration and rhyming or any type of cadence and rhythm to help me. So for me there, I've got 3 A's, which makes it easy for me to memorize. Arrival, announcement, appearance. And I do that because when I am preaching, I want to be looking at the people in the congregation. I don't want to be glancing at my notes all the time or reading my manuscript. So if I can come up with words that start with the same letter, if I can come up with words that kind of rhyme or have a cadence to them, it's easier for me to preach to the people and not read my notes or follow a manuscript. So those are my three headings: arrival, announcement, and appearance. But under those, I'm going to have some application points. So that's what they'll see, those three headings, but I will preach this as I work through the passage. And what I preach is the three applications. First, we proclaim Jesus' arrival like the angel did from verse 11 and 12. We proclaim Jesus' significance like the angel did from verse 11. And we proclaim Jesus' glory like the angels did in verses 13 and 14. So those aren't points that will show up in the handout or the notes, but those are going to be my application points. Once I've explained the passage and worked through the background and word studies, that's where the text intersects with the people's lives. And I don't do that in a very scientific method. I take some old scratch sheets of paper and I write them out, and then I work through them that way. So by Wednesday, my goal is to have that outline like I shared. And then I'll still go through some commentaries like Warren Wiersbe's B series commentary, N.T. Wright's New Testament for Everyone, J. Vernon McGee. There's a lot of great kind of basic commentaries you can use that will help you. And I will usually go to those once I have my outline and I have kind of an idea of where I'm going to go with the passage. And I wait to go through a lot of those commentaries until that point because, number one, I want to be doing my own work in the passage. I want to be praying and allowing God to kind of speak to me and shape the message in a way that fits my personality and that meets the needs of our church. So that's one reason I wait to go through a lot of commentaries until I've developed my own outline. A second reason is I want to check my work against other people, okay? As a young man pastoring a church of 30 or 40 people, I am still learning and growing, so I'm kind of almost following the scientific method, if we could use that phrasing, where I've developed kind of a hypothesis of what I think I'm going to do with the text. Now I'm verifying that with other people like Chuck Swindoll or J. Vernon McGee or N.T. Wright or James Montgomery Boyce or John MacArthur, whoever else I can get my hands on to kind of see, do my points line up? Am I saying similar things? And then if I find good material, good illustrations, quotes, I'll throw that to support the work I've already done in the text. And again, that's all done up until Wednesday. And if I find good materials, I copy them, I paste them, I throw them in here and put them on my sheets. And that leads to Thursday. Thursday, I will spend usually half the day just putting everything together, putting all my notes together, putting all my ideas together, and I will sit at the computer and I will type most of that material up. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm dealing with scratch sheets of paper, legal pads, notepads, cards, whatever I can to get all my ideas together. And I also will jot down, as I'm studying throughout the week, I'll make a page for introduction ideas where I come up with an idea maybe of a good illustration. If I have ideas of why this material is important and why people need to listen to it, then I'll write that down here. And also transitions. How am I going to transition from a good, catchy introduction into the passage? I'll write that down here. And I create a sheet of paper for that. Image, tension, and transition. Because as these ideas come to me throughout the week, I need to get them down on paper. And find a way to do it. Find a way to present it to the people. And I can't wait till Thursday. I'm going to get it throughout the week. And I'll also do the same thing for conclusions. I'll have a sheet of paper in here for conclusions, and I'll jot down conclusions. So I'll type it all up. I put it all together. I get it all ready on Thursday, but the work's not done. Usually Friday morning, I will wake up before my wife and son and even the dog, they're all still asleep. I'll get up Friday morning. I'll go through my notes again with a fountain pen, and I'll revise things and move things around. Then I let it sit. Fridays and Saturdays usually are my days off. But on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m., that's the Cinderella time, where I pull that outline out again and I go through it again, and I'll pull the computer out and I'll revise the notes I've made by hand, and I try to work it into an outline I can use on a Sunday. So I have the most recent outline I preached from 1 Peter here. So what I try to do, and you'll come up with your own system for this too, usually 1 page of notes for an introduction, 1 page of notes or 2 pages of notes for each point. If I have 3 headings like I shared, I should have 3 sheets of paper, and then I'll have a sheet of paper for a conclusion. And I do what's called, I think, just kind of a detailed outline or an explanatory outline. It's a manuscript for a lot of things. I write out a lot of what I want to say, but I don't write out illustrations. I usually don't write out transitions, because that stuff kind of comes in the natural flow of preaching it. And I have a tendency, if I write things out, I want to read it. So I kind of force myself to share those things without reading them. And I use colors, as you can see: green, orange, pink, blue. I have a whole system that I've come up with, because when I'm preaching and looking at the outline, I want to follow the colors to jog my memory. I don't want to read again. So you can see that's how I use it here. Green are my headings, orange are my subheadings, blue is my sub-subheadings, pink are my sub-sub-subheadings, and then the boxes down here, those are my applications. So I've kind of walked through the passage. Now this is an application. This is from 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 and 9. 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 10 and 11. I explain the passage, then we apply it. As you can see, I explain the passage, then we apply it. And then that's my conclusion. The conclusions are usually a lot shorter than my introduction. So I hope this is helpful for you, to help you learn how to prepare to preach. Again, I am young, still learning. I'm not an expert, but I just thought it would be helpful to share with you how you kind of take all the things you learn in school and how you put it to use week by week in the context of a church and preaching each week. Hope this video has been helpful for you. Thanks for watching.